live.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the inaugural show. This is Out of Frame. I'm Michael Racanelli. With us today, we have one of my good friends and amazing dude, actor, martial artist, all sorts of things, writer, producer, Mr. Nelson Estevez. How you doing?
How you doing, guys? How you doing, Michael?
I'm all right, man.
That was a great intro. I'm actually. Do you mind if I put a little? I need some little background music for that one.
Let's do it, man.
And if you want, feel free to say it again because that was quite the intro. So just give me 1 second.
What do
guys.
we got coming up here?
Oh, we got this over here. Hold on 1 second. All right, you ready? Y'all ready?
I appreciate that. Little ditty I sent you like last week. Yeah, after I haven't touched music in so long. It's so ambient.
And then just fade.
You like that? Is that like meditation music for you?
It's great, man. It's
I like
very
that.
Peaceful.
That's awesome, man.
Keeps me zen.
All right. Well, we also have the live chat going here at YouTube Live, and you can tweet at us at at Out of Frame Show on Twitter. Yep. You can tweet at either one of us at Nelson. That's right. So clearly right now your most recent project you're working on, Too Close to Home on TLC, Tyler Perry's show, his baby. And you were on this season. Yeah, we just wrapped season 2. Just wrapped. The season finale was yesterday. It was quite the dramatic ride, on and off the camera. It was working with. Let me correct myself. Working with Tyler is a great experience, but it's been such a great ride and experience, man. And I'm looking forward to season 3 as well too. And we're still in the talks with that as well, but it's looking really good. So fans, guys, don't worry. Season 3 should be around the corner. Fingers crossed. That's awesome. Let's see here. So let's go back to the beginning. Mm-hmm. As I like to know where whence everybody came.
Yeah.
Where did you? So you grew up in New York.
Yeah.
I knew that. And where was it exactly?
Well, I like to say Washington Heights, but technically it's Inwood.
Okay.
It's right above Washington Heights. It's like 207. Well, I'm from 207th Street on Broadway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of Dominicans are there, but prior to us, the Irish were there.
That's an interesting change. Okay.
Yeah, it was an interesting. And it's funny you mention that too, because my best friend in middle school, he was Irish.
Okay.
He was Irish, but we had the same likes. Like we like comic books, we love video games, so we just shared that. But yeah, that's. Because sometimes people don't know Inwood Heights, so I just say Washington Heights.
Sure. I know very little about New York.
No, that's
I've been
fine.
a handful of times. I think the last time was 2008.
Yeah.
So I'm sure a bit has changed since then. I've heard there's been I know rent has gone up. I know it's one of the things.
That's one of the main changes. Yeah, rent.
No one can afford to live anywhere anymore.
No, it's crazy. Thank God for rent control in some places there.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm not gonna blow up some spots, but that's everyone.
I'm looking at you, West Hollywood. Yeah.
Washington Heights rent control.
Yeah. Cool. So how did you get into acting? What was like the path that led you to?
Been quite the journey. And actually, it's always been part of. I do come from an artsy family as far as like my grandma. What I've heard, sometimes my parents, their story changes, and my grandma, rest in peace, but her story would change occasionally.
Sure.
But one was an opera singer.
Wow.
And then and actually one of my second cousins, he was in a well-known merengue band in Dominican Republic.
Wow.
So we have that a little bit there, and my sister and I, we actually used to just sit down. We had this black VHS when we were at home, and we used to record and tape all of our favorite commercials, music videos, clips from movies. So we called it like the black VHS.
So you had literally one tape for the two of you?
Of our favorite clips. Yeah, and we used to just watch them over and over, and then we just used to reenact, and then we would like be off book and know it, and then we would just like role play and like reenact everything.
Wow.
Yeah, even with like Batman. I remember I was like big on Batman with Michael Keaton.
Oh, it was a great movie, dude.
Yeah, it was
Didn't we just watch something the other day, and we watched that That Prince video.
Yeah, man, that's why, and that's part of it too. Like Prince, rest in peace. He was great, but then also that movie, it was just such it. I connected to it a lot as a kid, so it always makes me smile.
How did you feel about the sequels that came after that, the Batman? Like I know there was the, Batman and Robin, which
they were interesting. They were interesting. Hey, they were completed, but I care for more the first one.
Sure. I mean, you can't. I mean, Jack Nicholson as the Joker is like. I mean, obviously, later on Heath Ledger like knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
But you can't go wrong with the original, man. It's Jack Nicholson.
He was great. And then I just thought about, as soon as you said about the other sequels, I was thinking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze, which was
Penguin was interesting. That would be my second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Penguin.
I'm just kind of peeking over at the chat over here. A couple people in there. I'm guessing you.
Who we got?
David Rivera.
Hey, David.
I think he still has the Robin tights. That's probably true.
I got it from David.
Yeah, that's nice.
Touche.
Very nice.
We have some whiskey. If you guys are on the show, you get some whiskey too.
Yeah, it's nice, man. Just kind of trying to create a chill atmosphere here to hang out and chit chat. So
you need to tell me a little bit more about these cubes, because honestly, like
those are whiskey stones. So basically, they're, I don't know what they're, if they're granite or I'm not sure, but they're, they don't melt. Clearly,
yeah.
You put them in the freezer, they get cold, and then they sit in here and they, chill your whiskey.
That's pretty cool.
It's probably the least technological thing ever. It's literally just stones that get cold.
It made me happy. I don't know.
I'm glad that you're like, I'm glad you're like getting into this like, bougie lifestyle now.
Yeah.
Putting rocks in your drink, like literal rocks. Who would have thought, man?
Hey, I learned from you. I can just say I learned.
Yeah,
from
man,
you.
I'm super bougie. Growing up in the south side of Chicago, I'm just like, taking it to that next level.
Yeah.
So you had this VHS tape,
yeah,
and you guys reenacted everything.
Yeah.
And so where did that lead to, as far as how did you get into formal acting? I'm assuming somewhere in grammar school. Were you in any grammar school plays?
Not really. No.
Really? Okay.
High school, I was a jock in high school. 3 sports. David will let you know as well too. I went to high school with David. But we had to do an elective for like a music and a theater elective, and I wanted to be in the play so bad. But me being this jock, I just felt like that was my thing. Like football, track, baseball was my thing. So I made a choice, since I had to be in an elective. I did the spotlight. I was in the stage crew.
Okay.
So I ran the spotlight with 2 of my other buddies. But to run the spotlight, you have to know everyone's cues, everyone's lines.
Right.
So sometimes during rehearsals, the director of the show would have to cut and tell me to shut up, because I would like reenact. I was up there having a ball,
Okay.
So it was always like, I always felt like it was fun. It was great. So that kind of planted the seed as well. But I didn't really start until like a little bit after college. I got into some modeling. I got dabbled with that.
I'm sure you got razzed for that.
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah. It was interesting, man. And but then I was trying to figure myself out as well too. But it was after college, when I just after getting a 9 to 5, I was a business major, and just always feeling empty, feeling like I don't know, I should be doing something more. And I decided to move to California. Long story short, one of my teammates in college lived there, and I visited during college, but then I made the initial move on my own. How did
the move play out? How did you like decide, and then what day did you come, and why did you decide to move at that point?
So I moved out here twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did the same thing, so it's all right. Not by my own choosing necessarily, but.
Yeah, man. Same here. The first time, well, I always said I visited California when I was like 20. I was still in college. One of my teammates lived out here, so he was like, "You need to come out here." I was like, "All right, cool." And something about this place, I'm like, I can see myself living here. It's just a little bit more tranquil. The quality of life was better compared to the East Coast. A little bit more chill.
Everybody from New York, calm down.
Yeah. Nothing. My heart is in New York. Yeah. But it took me till I was like about 25 to actually just say, F it. I remember I was a project manager at like FedEx Kinko's.
That sounds amazing. Like, what does a project manager at FedEx Kinko's do?
It's a great way of just saying.
Is it kind of like you basically organize all the basically the art school kids that are printing out their thesis or whatever?
Yeah, and then they had like this third party kiosk system or whatever.
Right.
Like the job, whatever oncoming jobs would come in, is my job to delegate and produce them in a timely fashion.
Did you read that out of the Kinko's like handbook? Because that sounds like if someone gave you a job description, like you're like, what do I do now?
That's what I got for my business major. I know how to, I guess, finagle.
What
things sound a lot better.
What were you gonna do with that business major? What was the plan? Like,
I don't know.
You were just kind of like, I want to get into some business.
Yeah, like I remember, I just coming from the family, like I come from a very hardworking family. I just always was raised to understand and feel that business was the way to go. You'd be successful. You were a business major, and there are some successful people with the business major, but I just felt like that they told me that would be the route, and then just find a job and retire, work there for 20 years and then retire and live off your 401k retirement, and that was it.
Man.
And then I did choose international business because I figured, hey, I know Spanish, I speak Spanish. So
that was actually a smart move. That's a really smart move.
So that's how I decided it. And then in college, I was more so in football, and I really felt like, okay, football was going to be my way.
So you've kind of run the gamut on things you could possibly do or paths you, because you went from you've obviously did general studies in school to the tech side of theater to being a football player and being involved in sports to deciding to go into international business to then becoming an actor and a model. And so it's interesting how that but you knew when you were a kid, you knew that you had your black VHS tape and you enacted these things, and like you said, even when you went on to, control the spotlight, you were reenacting. So this thing has always been there. Yeah. And it kind of just, you let everything around you kind of distract you from, you knew what you knew as a child.
Yeah, put it to the side. This is good. This is like therapy. Like, this is great. I'm loving it.
No, that's what I'm more interested in, and the whys of.
I love it. Yeah, man. It's just like real talk. It was always embedded in me, but just leading to at certain peers where I was from, and sometimes influences at home, and love my family to death, but
in the big butt,
but I just had to find myself, be true to myself, and even with sports, I enjoyed it. It was a great time, a great chapter in my life, but I don't know, I decided to let go, and when I was like maybe 22, 23, because I just felt like I lost it. It was done,
Right.
So, but this, I definitely feel, it just feels right, and based on like what's going on in my life and my journey, it confirms I'm at where I need to be, and there's just so much more going on, and that's gonna happen ahead. So
right. I totally feel obviously the same thing. I mean, I grew up in a family that's working class. I'm the only person that has a college degree in pretty much my entire family, and that's an art school degree, which that's worth nothing. Let's be honest.
No disrespect.
I mean, yeah, if you want to go to art school, it's cool, but the thing with art school, and I went to Columbia College Chicago. What it was good for is if you do have some sort of artistic ability or what have you, it teaches you the technical side of what you're doing and different ways of thinking about things. Like, because you usually get set in your way, and you don't, as an artist, you create how you create, and usually that's great. Yeah. Like I'm not going to go in and tell Kanye how to write a rap because clearly he knows what he's doing. But going and being forced to learn different ways of thinking about things is good for you, I think. Doesn't mean you have to do them, but you can borrow pieces of what you're learning. But I mean, I decided to do that, and I went through the whole, maybe I'll be in business. Maybe I was a graphic designer and a web designer, and I worked, in the financial industry when I was in my early 20s, and just couldn't do it. And it took a while, even after working in the music business for a long time, for me to like be like, you know what, I'm moving to LA. I like the film side of things. You know, came out here to act, but then it tumbled into writing and producing and directing, and you have to do everything now in 2017. You have to be your own champion.
You do, yeah. And it just I'm just reflecting, because even with my craft, like I just feel like there's so much room for growth with that in myself. But then, you know, it is changing, and it has changed. So you need to be well rounded. You need to be a triple threat. You know, so and it's important. You know, and it also helps you as an actor just knowing what happens behind the camera as well too. You know, it just gives you a better understanding too. Even a friend of mine yesterday, we were just talking. You know, I was like grinding my teeth because he was like, you should maybe learn how to do some editing, so then that way you understand what's expected. You know, but
I've had to do all that as well, and sound editing, and like it's part of it for me was growing up poor. And most of the time, I couldn't afford to have anybody do things for me, you know, for me. So when I wanted to do something, I just did it, figured it out, got in. I don't like reading instructions. I think that's, you know, I don't want to be told what to do. So, you know, but you just kind of feel that out. But I agree that it does help you to learn how everything works on a set, even as an actor, because, you know, I'm sure when you're filming and like you have everything around you, it's important to know the DP is trying to get this frame. Here's my blocking. This is where I can move within the frame. Absolutely. If I move out of this frame, the light's not going to catch me in the right way. You know, I have to move this way because otherwise sound's not going to be able to grab me. And so I mean, understanding like those things, I think is important. It makes you better at whatever you're doing, you know?
Absolutely.
Just going to check in over here real quick. So let's see here.
Yeah, guys, any questions as well, feel free to just leave them in your comments.
David Rivera talking some smack.
Yeah.
Looks like,
what's he saying?
He just says that's why he went into acting. He wants to pretend he's someone else.
It's definitely far more interesting.
Someone who's anonymous said, does your family influence any of your acting in your roles?
Oh, absolutely.
That's an interesting question. And I would say, because I mean, obviously, clearly, like, you know, we've both done that, and I don't know what it's like for you, but I think the people that we know the best are those characters. Everybody, your entire family is just full of characters.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially since you know them so well, and you know their little like intricacies and their weird little quirks, and you borrow things like that all the time. I know, you know, obviously, like I want to hear what it does for you, but I remember just the story that I read about George Clooney when he did Oh Brother Where Art Thou. Like he had, you know, he plays a southerner in that movie, and in order to get the accent and the little quirks, he sent his whole script to his uncle Dan in Kentucky, and he had him read it on tape and then send it back to him. And so there was actually swearing in the original, cursing in the original script, but then his uncle, when he read it, would be like, oh gosh darn. So then he just went with that because he realized that, like, awesome. You know what I mean? So there's like those little things that you borrow. But what about your family? Have you, not that you want to throw them under the bus, but
I'm gonna keep it pretty general.
But what have you borrowed from them in order to influence?
Even with Too Close to Home, certain scenes, I had to. I'm not gonna lie, there were certain moments in my life where, you know, and I just feel like everyone knows an Elm. And everyone, like, there was probably even certain lines in some of the scenes that people can connect and relate to, because I definitely did, either through myself or some family members, as far as uncles or
You're not naming any names.
Cousins, you know, like you usually have that one family member who's just a player, and you know, and sometimes they feel like they're not a bad person, but they're just misunderstood. So there was one specific member, certain mannerisms that he did and certain traits that he had, and I just kind of just dug from that, but I just made it, try to keep it as genuine, like closest to me as possible. But there definitely is an essence over there.
Sure. Of they who remain nameless.
Yeah. I'm just gonna keep it like that. I don't want to blow up spots, because I want to feel like he's a changed man right now, and I strongly feel he's a changed man. But I know back in the days, he thought he was hot shit. He thought he was the man. And but like sometimes life does that. It causes you to change, especially for yourself and your loved ones.
You have to be willing to change. I think in life, because if you don't, you're just gonna be a miserable son of a bitch.
SOB.
And that's feel free to curse. I mean, we're drinking whiskey. Cool. You might as well curse, and it's YouTube. I can do whatever I want, really. So
great question. Whoever asked that as well.
Yeah. I don't know. There, it just says admiring viewer, so we don't know.
Cool.
Let's see here. We have Andrea 0000. So she always does gifts and memes during 2.
What's up, Andrea? How you doing?
She wants to say hi.
Meme game. Her meme game is strong.
Man, I bet. And
how you doing?
And then David's still blowing up your spot. He's saying Elm is loosely based on Saul. And then he says, "Tell me I'm wrong. It was Charles." So I don't know.
Definitely not Charles. Saul, no, definitely not Saul. They could be. Let me just he's never been a player, but certain times some of my friends, they just you know that person that they just do things and they just do it blatantly and they don't know they're it's wrong, or
that's where everybody has their specific ways they do it, but that's where you're borrowing from. I mean, that's why it's interesting.
They're misunderstood. Yeah, so absolutely.
So I guess next natural question would be, so you came out here, we got, you did the whole thing. I know you were talking about how you slept on a futon. I slept on the floor for 3 months on a mattress pad. Had nothing. And then, so how did you actually get into acting? How did you wedge yourself? Like, what was your first sort of legit gig? Yeah. That kind of was like, okay, this can maybe work.
Yeah, the first time, so remember I moved out here twice.
Right.
The first time, so I decided to leave out here with $3,000, suitcase and a duffel bag. $3,000.
What was in that duffel bag? The $3,000?
Clothes. Some clothes, and the $3,000 I managed to save from working at FedEx Kinko's. But so I just came out here. I kind of lied. I said I was more getting into personal training, but I definitely started doing, I did background work.
Okay.
I did background work because I had no understanding, no concept as to what a mark was, slate, takes, action, cut. Like that's all I knew just based on TV.
Right. But, so you literally came out here, was like, I want to act. Haven't done anything before that. Yeah. And just kind of submerged yourself in it. Started at the background work, which we all love. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did one thing out here when I first moved here, and it was Parks and Rec, the snake juice episode. Oh, you did? And if you go and you look at that episode, and they're inside the bar, and there's the characters Chris and Donna are talking at the bar. And you can see me right in between them at the bar. And I almost had a line, or like, it was almost like a featured extra, because they were going to basically walk up to me and throw a drink. And I think in the girl's face, I don't remember exactly how the scene played out, but they paired us up, and they were like, basically on me being like, but then they realized that the girl that they paired me up with had already been in something, like she'd already been seen, and so like, she's already been seen, so forget it.
So she blew it for both.
She blew his ball. Yeah, I was like, that's great, that's awesome, thank you.
Oh, remind me. What I wanted to say too before that. Sorry to cut you off, but I did do something. Okay, long story short. When I was 14, 15, I used to work for the city. There was like a program in the city that helped kids keep stay off the streets. So I remember my first job was like cleaning the city pool.
Wow.
Yeah. But with that being said, one day I was like in charge of like assistant teaching a class, but they were working on a PSA for public access. You New Yorkers know what that is. It's like the local, public access.
I've seen them,
Yeah, so they were doing a PSA for teen abstinence. So I actually got in there. I kind of I was acting in it, and then I ended up like helping out the director and the writer. So I was like co-directing and co-writing, just letting them know we should go this way and it should start that way.
So you were in a PSA for teen abstinence.
Yeah.
Were you abstinent at that point?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was so mortified. Like we even talking about it. I'm like, well, yeah.
Wow.
I didn't start till like 18.
Wow.
17,
Okay.
18.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was so scared.
It's that Dominican upbringing, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You're like, just my mom's gonna know I'm right now. She can just read my mind.
Oh man, I remember I was 15. Dave knows. We were talking about condoms, and I've never really seen a condom before, and one of my friends lent me gave me a condom. Like,
wow.
Yeah, try it on. You know. I was like, all right,
like
cool.
It's a shirt. Okay.
Yeah, so I had it in my coat, and I forgot I had it in my coat. So my mom went through my shit and I was asleep, woke me up. Almost in tears, like,
wow.
You know, Hispanic moms.
Oh, jeez.
What are you doing? Oh my God, you're gonna end up being a thug. And
your world just shattered at that point.
And I was so embarrassed to tell her I'm not having sex. I just wanted to try it on. That's all I wanted to do. Wanted to see if it fit right, if it was my size.
That's amazing. It's my size.
Yeah. So. Wow. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Growing up with Latin parents is really.
I mean, I grew up with Italian and Polish parents, so it's.
You get it.
I feel it. Trust me. I went to Catholic school for 12 years, so I feel it. Let's see here. I'm gonna peek here real quick. Ty Crump is here.
Oh, what's up, Ty?
My
too close to home people.
She said, when do you start taking our questions? I think we've taken a couple questions, but
bring them. What else you got?
Feel free.
Feel
free. I'm just trying to, kind of pivot my attention here.
It's a lot.
We're learning how to do this. If I had a producer, and I wasn't producing and doing the whole thing myself, then I would have someone feeding me questions that could sort through them and what have you.
You will.
But guys, here we are. This is my first episode.
Bear with us.
So, we're feeling it out. We'll see what happens, but
Mm-hmm.
So not to get totally off topic. So you tried on a condom, and then at some point you came out here and we were and did background. And how did that? That's basically. I'm just hitting all the main points.
Yeah, for sure.
Tried on a condom, background, and then where did you get to? That was,
Oh my God. So. I learned a lot of the ropes there. It's just the basics.
Sure.
And someone told me through that I found out, other background actors, they've been doing it for 10 years and very experienced,
right.
They made this a lifestyle living.
Right.
So one of the I forgot who, but someone gave me advice as far as like websites, and LA Casting was one of the first ones that they told me like,
right.
You need to.
Yeah, I mean everybody, LA Casting, Actors Access.
Yeah. And so I created, I paid for an account, LA Casting, and someone one time randomly just, I'm not going to say any names, I got a random message to let me know, hey, this is not acting related, but I have a job for you, but I'll explain, I'll explain who I am later on, but it pays $25 an hour. So I just had to make sure it was something where I can keep my dignity and my, just make sure I can sleep at night.
Which is hard to do in this town, keeping your dignity.
Yeah.
It's.
This one was pretty interesting. I was broke, so I'm like $25 an hour. I'm like, this is great. So I ended up handing out flyers at a gay club.
I know this. I know this story. This is a great story.
So long story short, that was an interesting night. I just had to hand out flyers.
And what was the name of the club?
Oh my God. I don't want to say.
Why?
Because who knows? They might still be active. I don't. Let's not talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I gave out the flyers, and at the end of the day, the guy, a great guy, really nice guy. But this was his dream. This was his passion. He wanted to open this venue, this club. He thanked me, and then he let me know he was an assistant to a casting director. I don't think he's working anymore. And I'm not gonna say which casting director,
sure.
But I ended up crashing. He called me like 3 months afterwards. I nearly forgot about the guy. Called me up to crash a callback, which for you guys who don't know what a callback is, usually there's like an auditioning process, and the callback is usually like the finale, the final candidates for the actual commercial. So I ended up crashing that, showing up, I'm very green, so I don't know what the heck is going on.
Sure.
Just, hey, I'm here. What's up, guys? Just
Right.
being delightful. And they had me improvise a scene with the director and then like maybe 6 other actors, and I booked a commercial.
Oh, wow.
A commercial to that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that kind of let me know like, oh, I can do this.
Right. After crashing the callback.
Crash the callback, yeah.
Which is like you're lucky to have an audition and then get a callback.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I'm just gonna skip that part of it.
Yeah.
And just show up.
Yeah. That was really interesting, and then I also did the mail out. So I don't know if you remember the Ross reports. It was like this booklet. It might be digital now, but it was a booklet where it had a directory of every agent and manager,
Okay.
and who was interested and what they were interested in, like Caucasian 25 to 35, female, male, like they would let you know what they're interested in. So I went through like every agency and I submitted like 150 headshots and resumes after getting the headshot and resume.
Wow.
And I got 2 responses.
not a bad return.
Yeah,
2 out of 150.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's yeah.
That's like basically less than 1%.
Yeah. But
So,
that's the industry.
For those of you who are looking to come out here and do this, that sounds very tempting.
That's very
Just
tempting.
constant rejection.
Yeah, man. Just make sure you have the heart for this, man, and the guts for this.
Oh man, it's rough.
It's real.
I mean, it's still rough, but
Yeah.
So let me try, and we're gonna continue with that.
Yeah.
But,
Let's do some comments and questions.
Andrea's popping some questions here.
Yes.
Let's see. If you weren't acting, what would you do?
Ooh. I always had this obsession. I think maybe, I don't know how you guys are with the zodiac signs. I'm a Cancer, so I'm a water sign, but I always had this obsession with the ocean. So I would say maybe a marine biologist. And this is so
Really?
random. Yeah.
Huh?
I don't know. I just like Shark Week, all that stuff really interested me. And then remember we talked about, I told you that I wanted to get my scuba license as well too. Yeah, so I'm sure some of my friends are like, what? But I think
it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm scared as shit of the ocean. I
It's-
like
it's-
looking at it, but I don't want to go in it.
yeah, it's
You know?
scary, but it's also very calming and peaceful. Cause it didn't count. I did snorkeling for sure, but at a pool, I did some deep sea diving and
Pool.
yeah, it was like 15 feet.
That's a little bit different than the ocean.
It's so different, yeah. But because snorkeling, that was interesting too. I saw some fish and I was nearly like lost my shit. But I don't know, like I feel like after a while I'll just be like I really like have this appreciation and this respect for it. And yeah, even like now when sometimes I go for a long run, it's just along the shore of the beach, and there's something about it. The water's very calming.
I don't disagree. I just don't want to be in it.
Yeah,
There's all kinds of weird shit in the
I don't blame
ocean.
you. I don't blame you.
It's weird.
Yeah.
We have somebody, SRod321 on here. It says,
Oh yeah.
do you have an actor or actress that you consider the standard that you measure yourself by, and why?
Oh, that's a great question. Repeat that question again.
Okay. Do you have an actor or actress which you measure yourself by, and why?
I would the first person that popped to my head was Denzel, for sure. But then also
Because he's good at like hitting cups.
that
That fences. Oh my god, he
That
was so
parody
good.
was
That
great.
parody is amazing.
Yeah, King was it King Botch? King Botch,
Yeah.
that was hilarious. But also you know what? Sidney Portier.
Yeah, I mean he's
And he was an islander too, from Bahamas, and just what he did, he opened the doors for Denzel,
Yeah.
you know.
absolutely.
And he was just such a classy gentleman and took his craft very serious, and just wanted to always better himself. And yeah, I just appreciate like the fact that he wasn't your stereotypical, I guess, man of color, you know, like
Right.
he was a leading man, you know, and he
Right.
just always had his standards high.
Right.
So that was he really like motivated me, and it just inspires me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, but Denzel, of course, Denzel's like a no-brainer, and I do like what he's doing now as well too. He's just He's transitioning to directing and just putting out his passion.
You got I mean you have to, once you accumulate that clout, you have to obviously spend your capital and and make those stories happen that you care about.
Yeah,
you know,
and he's from New York too.
right.
Mount
So
Vernon. So.
there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
The New York connection.
Absolutely.
How do you feel about? I know we've talked about Riz Ahmed and his journey, and the one interview that he did talking about people who are not white trying to trying to break into leading characters and not be just terrorist number two, or like, and obviously like both of us have a lot of friends that they're black or brown or what have you, that deal with a lot of those things. What's your outlook as far as like the process of how that is, especially in 2017? Like what do you think about how things are playing out, or like, how casting directors look at people, or how directors look at people?
Yeah, I have a lot of mixed feelings in regards to that. I do agree with Riz, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I might get it mistaken as far as well, like I know he said at first, you just, it's almost like paying your dues or just moving up in the ladder, and when you're starting out, everyone's journey is different. Some people start certain levels, but for me, I just realized like just understanding, I guess, not just more so your market, your niche, where you are, and just moving your way up. You might have to play in the beginning, background number one, background number two, thug number one, but then there's a certain point where you become what did you say about I guess like a regular in TV, like because I know you know it a lot better as far as, like, the
just
levels.
that there was like the steps of playing the person that they see you as, because immediately, I mean, there's a general perception, I think, of people, sadly enough, and him being a Middle Eastern guy, he immediately, like, come in, you see terrorists, so he started by playing in that, then it becomes lead terrorist, then terrorist with a backstory, and then sort of using that to then position himself. Once you've seen his face and his ability enough, then you're able to showcase him and have people buy him in a lead character, and you don't look at him like that anymore. You don't see him and see terrorist anymore. It's when you don't know people that it becomes that sort of stereotypical thing. And I think that is that's a perfect, analogy between the real world even. And because when people don't experience other people, I mean, clearly right now we're, in a very crazy time in our country, and we've had crazy times before, obviously, but not people in the middle of the country not necessarily experiencing Muslim people, or or even black people for that matter. Then the experience of it creates a whole different situation than trying to like educate people on things. So I can see where those two things kind of.
Yeah, and my dynamic is interesting too. I'm sure there's other actors out there where sometimes I'm not black enough, or I'm not Latin enough, and
right.
Yeah, it's just like
right.
I call myself Latino, but it's a good time where like there's more roles are starting to come out, even with like Jane the Virgin and telenovela. There's a lot more of our culture, even though other countries, every Latin country is different. Hispanic country, Latino country is different. Like we have different cultures. We do speak Spanish, but just the background is it's different.
Right.
So it's I can't wait, and I want to be a part of the movement to bring my culture, my story, up
right.
to the camera. So because
you hear that, everybody? Anybody's writing some parts for.
Yeah. And then also remember even with Vin Diesel, he had that problem as well too, and he took the trailblazer, the route where he just decided, what, I'm gonna do my own shit, and
right.
And look at him now,
Let's see here. Would you ever consider doing theater work? That's your boy David.
Absolutely. I trained most of the work. Well, I did some on-camera training, but I really learned a lot through Terry Schreiber Studios in New York.
Okay.
And they're theater based.
Right.
They have some on camera classes and script breakdown, but I learned a lot through that class. And in theater you can't really make mistakes. You make beautiful mistakes.
Right.
And just that training, it was really interesting. And I love the fact that as soon as you walked into you would just we would start class with meditation. The professor, the teacher would just say, as soon as you walk in here, forget what happened outside.
Right.
Boyfriend cheated on you, girlfriend cheated on you. You're running late, whatever the case was. Just let's leave that outside and let's discover each other. Let's do some work right now.
Right.
So that was I would definitely love to do some theater. August Wilson would be very challenging for me. It's just very I know it's very wordy, lengthy, but it's a great cadence to it. And I just saw I just saw a play, an August Wilson piece. Oh my god, I kill myself. I can't even remember what it was. But it's very I felt very connected to it. But I'm very open to doing theater.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting about meditating and whatnot. I mean, obviously, like I've studied for a couple of years too, and it's interesting how you have to exist in that moment that you're in. So it's really hard to let go of the things that happen on the way there. I know driving over to the place, even in LA drivers are insane. So I'm in the car getting angry already, and then to have to go in and like play a love scene or something like that's. Trying to forget all this stuff. Those are good skills to have. Like,
just over there shaking like.
I'm just like about to murder everybody. Not really, but it's
Figuratively.
LA is very, very stressful for driving.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, it is.
Let's see here. Let me grab another question here. Oh, that's a very long one from David. Let's see. Let me just throw out this question real quick here.
Mm-hmm.
Many actors of color talk about the blacklisting of minority actors in Hollywood by the major studios. How supportive is the black-brown Hollywood community of each other, or is it all posturing?
Whoa.
Going deep.
This is interesting because I'm still green to it. I'm still learning and figuring everything out. So everything I say is just based on my opinion, disclaimer.
Sure.
Can you just repeat that question again? Because
Sure.
that was pretty.
So many actors of color talk about the blacklisting of minority actors in Hollywood by the studios, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then how supportive actually is the community in Hollywood of each other, or is it just posturing? Like, are they actually taking steps to write more black films and cast more black actors and whatnot, or is it just people expressing outrage and not actually trying to do anything about it?
I feel like we're definitely in a very woken state right now. I feel like things are transitioning right now, and even like with the Moonlight, I'm just happy that it wasn't another slave film, and sometimes they get stuck on I'm just saying but this is based on my experiences and my opinion. I just feel like sometimes they get stuck on just telling one part of the story,
right?
And there's so much different
aspects of the
story to it.
That is integrated into the beginning of our country as much as anything is. I mean, it's everything began with slavery, and it's been a constant. I mean, even now, fight for equal rights, just civil rights. Like, it's been a constant struggle in this country. Terribly, and I mean it those things that have happened before constantly repeat themselves, whether it's going to be with the gay community or the Muslim community, and it just it sucks.
Sometimes it's just very alarming too, where you ever watch like an old school film and you just connect and you feel like, man, we're still going through this.
It's history repeats itself very subtly as opposed to just directly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, but I back to the answer to the question. I feel like we are in a good state right now. Even like there were just a lot more uplifting and positive films. Moonlight, it definitely brought some awareness. It was a little dark, but it was a good story about love and just finding yourself and being true to you. And then Hidden Figures was a great motivational film. So I do feel like right now we're at a good time where things are looking a little brighter. Yeah. So I'm but then again I'm very positive, and I just see I see the progress, and even with Tyler Perry, he's bringing all different types of projects. Of course, he's into, his fan base is basically more into drama.
Right.
But he's definitely providing a lot more opportunities and work for people.
Right. I mean, he has his own studio and
he's a business tycoon, man. Like he's a great savvy businessman and an awesome creative. So I definitely see, but not only for us, but then too close to home, there's people of different ethnicities, white people as well too. So,
yeah. So let's just step back, but then try to get into that because obviously So you got in the background work, and then you ended up getting like commercial and what have you, and then you've done some stuff. So how did the Tyler Perry thing come about?
Man, okay.
I mean, I know the story, but obviously let's.
So there was a project that's not out yet. Can't really say much about it, but I'll tell you. But this connected me to getting to Too Close to Home.
Yeah, tell us what you can tell us.
Yeah. He's very he likes to keep things secretive. So I get a call from my manager for an audition. Just another actor's day. So I go in there. It's a known casting director, Kim Coleman, and I got to read for a role, and I just did my part. The preparation. You got to be prepared. The opportunity was there, so I just went ahead. I didn't know much about the project. I just knew the title and then the who was casting for it. But I know who she is, and she's very reputable. So I definitely want to be in her radar, and apart from that, I want to do my work. So I did that. I remember I was like rushing to go to my to my hotel job. Like I was like, I gotta go. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna rush to work. So during that week, I get a call. I booked it. Still don't know who it is. Fly out there, and then I find out it's with him. With Tyler, and we shot it, and then through that we built a certain rapport, and then there was and then that's when Too Close to Home was presented. Of course, I did some reading for it as well too, and it was almost like it was meant to be part of my journey, part of my course, man. But through the preparation and I had to go through, certain obstacles in my life to get there.
Right.
So I'm just trying to keep it like as brief or like just as brief, but then also
sure.
It's unfortunate I can't say much, but once that time comes for that job, to talk about it, I'll be more than happy to. But that's how I landed the role for Too Close to Home.
And so what was the process of that then once you got there? So you you did the whole season, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Okay. 2 weeks in an entire season. So you're just like knocking everything out like
it was like a workshop. We just banged them out, and we had, whatever time we used, it was just straight work, We didn't have much downtime, and the downtime we needed, we had to prep,
Right.
So it was a great experience, and even through that, I found some things out about myself. There were certain scenes, I'm not gonna say where I wasn't fully off book, but I found myself already knowing the lines, just listening and just being involved, just being home to that world. So it was a great experience, and I want to do it again. I can't wait to do it again. It was like I said, it was a whirlwind. It was wild, a crazy ride, and now we get to see. It's interesting because the same time we're watching it, the fans are watching it as well too.
Right. So you don't get to see the final edit until it's on. So quick. So you're just in your scene each day, doing the thing, and then
to the next. He works quick too.
Right. And then at that point, you see the finished product, and you're like, oh, okay, so this is how this all plays out.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming you guys shoot out a sequence as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's we definitely shoot. We were doing like 2 to 3 episodes a day.
Right.
It was definitely out of sequence, so you had to know your character. You had to know your before. What were you doing the scene prior? Where were you emotionally?
Right.
Where were you physically? You know, who are you talking to? How do you engage with this character? You know, so we had to just it was a lot. It was a lot of work, but it was great, man. And just discovering and learning the character it's interesting because I'm that character that you love to hate, but then there's also a lot of comedic elements to my character, which I discovered.
So basically, you're playing yourself.
Basically, yeah. My life is a joke.
I'm just kidding.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, someone tweeted a question.
My life being a joke, or
No. Ask Nelson his backstory on Too Close to Home. Why is he cheating on his wife Tina with Regina? We don't know why.
Yeah.
So this is for the fans out there.
This is something because as an actor, you know, sometimes being in a series, they're I guess the writer, in respect to the writer, you know, sometimes they're not presented just because, you know, it's a series, so you have to pace it out. Does that make any sense? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, with anything, you're dropped in on a specific, you know, the craziest point of someone's life ever. I mean, all those. It's not like the boring day-to-day stuff where you're just like brushing your teeth and I'm at work and blah blah blah. It's not fun to watch. That's why it's called a drama. So you're dropped in with the drama, but I understand, like, that's gonna play out somewhere down the line. It's just right now the drama is, hey, he's, you know, cheating on his wife. We don't know why. Yeah. But
so I had to create a why.
Okay.
You know, and that's why I had to you know, create a why for my need, for my influence, for my motivation as
right. So you can create those feelings in your head and why they motivate you to do what you're doing on camera. Otherwise, it'll play flat.
Right. So what I got from it, I don't want to say too much why. I want to keep that to myself.
Okay.
But I do want to say that
I tried, guys.
Yeah.
I tried.
Tina, to me, she's very whiny. You know, I'm getting very frustrated. There's definitely the fire that we had when we first met is not there anymore, and I see that fire through Regina.
How long have you been married?
It doesn't say, but for a long time. For a while.
Like 10 years?
I want to say about close to 10. I was gonna say 8.
Yeah, I mean, there's I've heard that there's sort of a general like rule now that marriages that last 10 years are really like pushing it.
Yeah.
At this point, so I can understand, especially if you get married young.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But Dave was actually married very young, and his marriage is going strong, very strong. Okay. Yeah. But what I was also gonna say is about the character. Where was I getting to? There's also a backstory behind Elm. Maybe he is misunderstood. Maybe, you know, he's on disability, so maybe he was providing for her before. You know?
Right. So sort of an insecurity thing.
Right. There's definitely
which usually motivates a lot of actions like that.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, and then maybe he feels like, well, I did my part, and now you have to do yours. So I don't know. Maybe there's a sense of revenge or something. You know, and those questions I had for myself as a character, and I needed answers. Right. But for the sake of the show and the writer, I'm just gonna leave it open.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because who knows? I might say something, and then next season it'll be revealed as something totally different. So.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very respectful of you.
Hopefully that answers some of your questions.
David says 13 years.
Yeah.
13 years and going strong.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's awesome, man.
She's great too. Yeah.
Let's see. Then here's another question from SRod321. Is there any specific character or role in a specific movie that you want an opportunity to play? Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah. What can we will into the universe for you?
Initially, action. I want to do some action.
Okay.
Like a John Wick or like a Bourne Identity would be.
That'd be
ideal.
Cool.
Like
for
a trilogy. Yeah, I want to be an action star, action hero. Even a TV series like a 24 Legacy would be great. Yeah. I can also do my own stunts, my own fight sequences. Some stunts, like basic fight choreography. So just to be involved in a project like that, I can't wait, and I'm putting it out there, and it's gonna happen. It's just, you know, like you said, it's just you have to pave. You know, you have to either pay your dues or pave your own way.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah, I would love to get my action project off the ground that we can do, and
we are. Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Got all those those things happening, but
can we talk about your award?
We don't have to talk about it anymore. We don't have to talk about it.
Big deal. But if he doesn't want to talk about it, that's fine.
There's nothing to talk about anymore.
Okay, all right,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's talented, very talented.
I won an Emmy.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay.
How many people can say that?
I mean, probably quite a few, like 2,000 a year, pretty much. But
True.
I guess the percentage of the world is pretty small.
True, but
my
first friend that I can say, oh yeah, that's my friend. He has an Emmy.
Yeah, well, hopefully I can, I can continue to, build on that and not disappoint.
You will. Man.
Andrea's saying here we totally skipped over all of her questions, but if you want to ask a question right now, I can answer. I'm trying to scroll through here and see.
Sorry about that, Andrea. We just kind of went.
We're winging it, and I'm producing at the same time I'm doing everything else here. So
you can just ask your question or just
feel free. I'm gonna try and catch it here.
Thank you.
So let's just say so you hopefully TLC will do the right thing.
They will.
And
they will.
Green light the next season of Too Close to Home.
No, they will. They will.
And because obviously the cast, yourself, Tyler, extremely talented people.
Thank you.
Great storyline, good drama. So I'm hoping that's gonna happen for you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see? What do you see after this? Like, what else do you? I mean, I know you just said like what you want to be in an action film, but is there anything else sort of lined up right now that's kind of firming up that you can talk about? That
there's some projects I'll be working on during the summer.
Okay.
One of them is actually an action film. As soon as I can disclose that information, I'll
Sure.
be more than happy because you know how this business is, man.
Yeah.
I can't talk about it.
Right.
It's there, and there's some known celebrities, some known stars in it.
Okay.
So slowly transitioning towards that, but not that I wouldn't do a drama or a comedy. Like I would love just for me to be working and just working on my craft is great, and just constantly working. I'm happy for it. But that's that action film would be. I just signed a letter of intent, but sometimes due to financial situations, it's an independent.
Sometimes film. It kind of goes in and out, and So Andrea just dropped 3 questions all at once. So let's knock this out for her.
Yeah.
Where do you see your character Elm going?
Ooh, I feel like for season 3, there's definitely I'm sure you noticed there's something deeper to Elm. Something's not right. Something's not right with that character. So hopefully it gets revealed in season 3. Maybe more of his backstory. They might, I don't know, depending where he goes, there's definitely a dark side to him. Because he was in the military and he didn't re-enlist, and we still don't know why or how he got to on disability.
Okay.
Was it something because he's a mechanic? Is it car related, or was it in the military? We don't know.
Right.
So there's definitely a certain side to him that we haven't experienced yet, and now I don't want to say much of the cliffhanger, but he's in a situation where his life and his health could be threatened by other peers in the community.
Okay.
So maybe that dark side will come out.
All right.
Yeah.
And then future projects we answered.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
And then favorite movies.
Favorite movies.
which is like a first date question.
Yeah.
So,
that's great. I'm dark. I don't know. I like Clockwork Orange.
Really? When was the first time you saw that? Like, how old were you when you saw that?
That's so sad. Like it might have been like 8 years ago.
Oh, that's good because
at
least you could like comprehend it. Like I saw it when I was like 15.
Yeah.
And like I just thought it was cool because it was like violent and like.
Yeah.
But then
it's artistic too.
Yeah,
right?
I mean you see different things in different films at different periods in your life,
Yeah.
So Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange is one. Definitely Batman.
Right.
It's just fun.
Sure.
Recently, Guardians of the Galaxy was a
fun
one. It definitely. I know the writer. He wanted to give it the same journey as like Indiana Jones.
Mm.
So it was just a fun. You felt like you were in a fun roller coaster ride throughout the journey of the characters. So I did like Guardians of the Galaxy.
I just want to interject there because you said it was a fun ride, and there's this sort of like mentality with films now. I think that it's either like the greatest piece of filmmaking in the world or a total piece of shit. Yeah. And I was listening to John Hamm did an interview on Grantland, which was Bill Simmons' podcast. And he was talking about, he's like, I don't know why it has to either be the greatest thing in the world or a total piece of crap, because there's a lot of movies that are just good or they're fun. And like, you know, like the Jurassic World. Is it an Oscar-winning movie? No, but it was so fun. I loved seeing that film. Like, that was great. And I saw it in 3D too, which was kind of fun. Like, I don't normally like 3D, and it's kind of, you know, already gone away. But it was cool. Like, it was a cool little thing to do. Or like the Entourage movie. Like, I love that show. You haven't seen it? That's cool. Yeah. I love that show. Like, but it wasn't, you know, for lots of guys, it was like, oh, it's wish fulfillment. There's guys that are rich that are banging hot girls. But it had nothing to do, for me, it was nothing about that. It was definitely like, you know, the brotherhood between them and the kind of idea, because, you know, you watch that show and, you know, you look at it and you're like, oh, it's super entertaining. Ha ha ha. But then you're like, when you live it, you're like, Hollywood, it's pretty close. Aside from like the Ari Gold character, like doing a lot of crazy things, which I'm sure some agents have done. It's pretty close to like being in this mix. Like it's they did a pretty good job of that. And you know, the movie, if you love those characters, like, it was just fun. It didn't have to be an award-winning film. Everybody kind of like deadpanned it, but it was really fun. I went to see it in the theater by myself. And you know, I had a really good time. Like, it was just a fun thing. They put all the cameos in, like lots of famous folks, and no, it was good. It was good.
Birdman's another one that
Birdman's a great film.
Yeah, it was great, and it just took you in that journey as well too. It was very interesting, and
we don't see enough of Edward Norton ever. Like, now he's such a great actor. I mean, I was reading like some articles, well, like mostly vlogs. I don't know how true it is, but apparently he's like he's hard to work with. I guess because he just like takes a script. Aren't we all?
Yeah, takes a script and just, I know, for sure.
In some way.
I'm so difficult. But he just takes a script and he just like rewrites it. No, I don't think I would say this. I would say that. So I don't know how true that is. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But if anyone knows, I mean,
I mean, you can get to a certain point in that career. But I mean, you know, I think if you know yourself well enough and you know your character well enough, like, it'd probably annoy me as a writer or director, maybe. Yeah. But I mean, I can see how someone would do that, and it would be like, okay, cool. Well, you know your character. Yeah. You know, if you feel like you wouldn't say that, then let's talk about it. Yeah. That's just, you know, that's just me.
I agree. But so I just felt like even with Birdman, the character that he played, they said it was great for him because it was really relative to who he is.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah, and even with Keaton, you know, his character, like, he was, you know, just an action. He was like an action figure, action star. And right. He's on decline, trying to redo his career, remake his career. So it was just very interesting, the story and how it was shot. Of course, it was really
beautiful movie.
Impressive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's where you're at with.
Yeah, that's what I definitely enjoy. Like I said, I like dark, like, horror films, but I like the classics like Nightmare on Elm Street. I did like The Ring.
The horror movie The Ring.
Yeah, it used to creep me out. Because I had it on DVD, and one of the featurettes was the actual the tape. Yeah, so I remember not trying to watch it.
You're still here, so you didn't get sucked into the TV.
yeah, 7 days.
Whatever happened, you're still alive. Here. That's good. That's good to know. One other question from Andrea: if you could play any other character in Too Close to Home, who would you play?
Great question.
And why?
Let me see something. Just give me a second, because there's a lot of interesting characters. You know what? Jolene, Mama Jolene.
You would play?
Yeah,
play that character. Okay.
She's just such a mean old bitch in the series, and she's just like all grumpy and just like she's just like on the bed the whole time, just sitting in the bed and just like dictating and just telling people off. So somebody
that you're totally not like. You would love to just like explore.
For sure. Yeah. And even in the last few episodes, you see a more vulnerable side of her. So that was really interesting. And Trisha, like, she killed it. Like, she did a great job. But just I want to see myself in that situation, see how I would take it and what journey emotionally I would go.
Interesting.
Yeah. But Trisha for sure, man.
Cool. Well, let's see. I mean, you know, we're pushing in a little over an hour here, so I mean we can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Time flies,
Time
girl.
flies.
Yeah. So we can wrap this up. Thank you for being my first guest.
Of course, man.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no
You
problem,
know,
bro.
and thank you for everybody who did tune in and drop some
appreciate
questions. Hopefully, we'll see this man on season 3 of Too Close to Home very soon. TLC can get on it.
Yeah, they're on it. They're on it. They're on it for sure.
Cool, man. Well, thanks again for being here. Obviously, wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
I'm sure I'll talk with you soon.
We'll be chatting and we'll be collaborating. So
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully you enjoyed your whiskey as well.
it's great, man.
Yeah.
You said Jack Daniels,
No, it's Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker,
Johnny Walker. Black.
good stuff.
Johnny Walker Black. Thank you for everybody tuning in. This has been Out of Frame. I'm Michael Racanelli, Nelson Estevez, and we'll see you soon.
We're out of frame.
Later.
Later.